Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Emery Daniel, and this will be the introduction to our course for the next 5 weeks, which will be known as Crisis Communication here in the Department of Communication at Appalachian State University. I noticed that we've got a pretty small crowd with us for this particular course, but I'm very excited about it. This is always a summer course that I've been able to teach, and always a lot of fun to be able to do this and get some unique perspectives from the students in terms of people they'd like to represent, people they'd like to talk about, and that sort of thing. So, some small things here. Again, my name is Dr. Emery Daniel. Feel free to call me Emery or Stephen or Dr. Daniel. It doesn't really matter. When you are addressing in an email, if you would be so kind as to write, hello to Emery or hello to Dr. Daniel, give a brief salutation. Hello, my name is, and I'm in this class, and then go into your question, and then give a quick salutation to sign off. That would be greatly appreciated. Got Monday, Wednesday, Friday office hours. Honestly, though, I will say that for the most part, a lot will be dependent on if you just want to send me a quick message and say, hey, Dr. Daniel, can you schedule a Zoom meeting with me? Which around the times of, I'd say from 10 to 1 p.m., I'm going to be pretty inaccessible. But other than that, when it comes to 8 to 10, as well as 1 to 5, I will be pretty available to meet and discuss anything through Zoom or through email, whichever you prefer. So this is an asynchronous class, so I will be doing a lot of recording for the lectures. So be prepared for that. However, again, if there's anything that you want to talk about individually, dedicating these 5 weeks to make sure that you are attended to in case you have any questions based on this course. Best place to reach me is at this email right here, danielles@appstate.edu. The E and the S are for Emery and Stephen. That often gets mixed up, and there's been the occasional person that has received my emails that shouldn't have. And just kind of as a general rule, there is no S in my last name, but it is Daniel es@appstate.edu. I will be pretty prompt in terms of answering your emails as quickly as possible, especially given the time frame for this course and especially given the nature of it being online. I want to make sure that I am going to be accessible to you, and I will try to respond promptly. If it does come late at night, I do have a sleep schedule, much as to surprises some people that may be, but at the same time, if it is late at night, I will probably answer sometime in the morning. But otherwise, I will try to answer pretty promptly. For this course, we're going to talk about what we mentioned in crisis communication, and which kind of goes into a lot of different areas, whether it be group communication, organizational communication, interpersonal communication. Some of the more common ones are through advertising and public relations, as I noticed that most of y'all are majoring or having some affiliation with public relations. So we will talk quite a bit about that. But the areas that we're going to be focusing on for the most part is through OrgComm, is through public relation, is through advertising, and through mass communication in general. So we're going to be playing a little bit of a role about how to respond during a crisis situation. Who are some of the key players during a crisis situation? We're going to be talking about apologia, which is basically speeches in response. We're going to be talking about image restoration. All of these things, because as you can probably imagine, there are quite a few organizations and public figures that are going through some heat from one reason or another as far as a crisis is concerned. And I want to be able to talk about what are some ways to handle that, what are some ways to respond, and ultimately mitigate those crises. You may not be able to have a complete image restoration, but you may be able to mitigate some of the more difficult things here. So we're going to go through some areas and some theory about how to approach that. So by doing so, we've got two books. Fernbanks is still a great place to look in terms of crisis communication, a casebook approach. They may have a different version of it at the library. This will be available at the library. I've made sure to put in that request, so they should have it. And you don't have to get it right away. So, but try to do so as quickly as possible. Excuse me. So, crisis communication, casebook approach. This is going to get into some of the theoretical backgrounds, and then Lanny Davis, Crisis Tales. Please get that on Amazon. Any of these, if it is a older version or a newer version, it doesn't matter. The main things I want to get are just kind of the basics of these areas here. So, this is going to be a great deal of reading. This is going to be a lot of writing. This will be some public speaking. So there's a lot of areas within this particular class in terms of how we deal with it through. There are a lot of layers in this case. So we'll talk about, again, how to write a press release when it comes to crisis communication, how to make a presentation, how to respond in certain situations. And ultimately, my goal is always to give you something tangible to bring to another class or employer in the future. And by doing so, my goal for the end of the semester here is for you to write a crisis plan, which is a lot of writing. It's not a lot of difficult writing. So I will make sure I preface this, and I will give you plenty of resources and examples for what those will look like throughout the semester. So you will be fully prepared for what it will look like. But the idea here is to have a crisis plan here. I mean, you can read through this. The main thing that I will want you to do is just go by what the syllabus says in terms of things like any academic dishonesty, writing for... If you need special assistance, please let me know. Some small things within late work and class presentations, but yeah, like I said, that's just, you don't have to pay too much attention to that. I just encourage you to read it here. And then also grading. I mean, you can see kind of the ideas of what I'm going to be looking for. I will mention for this class in particular, I do put a lot of emphasis on things like grammatical errors, AP style. So if you don't know AP style, that's okay. We'll learn it as we kind of go. This is the kind of thing where I'm going to be a little bit more strict than I normally am when it comes to these classes. And the main reason is because if you are representing an organization, a spelling error can be very detrimental. So just want to make sure that you all are well aware of that going in. So we can see for the grading here that we've got a couple of things here. First and foremost, we'll go over what apologia is. You'll write a press release and a small report for how an organization of your choice handled a situation. I would probably encourage you to find one that did so poorly or at the very least not favorably. But in this case, I will want you to write a press release to say, how would you do it better through the areas of apologia? And again, we'll go over that. There is a press conference that I will have you do, which is going to be tied to the apologia press release. So that will actually have some public speaking areas there. You will have 5 journals that you will be doing here. They will be pretty easy to go through. They're basic opinion here. So, but I do want you to take them seriously. And if it calls for something like citations, please make sure to do so. And then we've got other written papers, which will actually connect with the final project here. It's just going to be a halfway point for other written papers. It will just be basically saying, all right, here is the proposal for your case study, and then the final project will be the actual crisis plan that you write. So you can see that this is kind of the premise of it. I will be posting discussion boards every now and again probably once a week, so discussion will be part of your grade as well. And then again, this will just be a little bit of the explanation here. So for the tentative schedule, like I said, I'm not going to go into too much here. But for the weekend homework, you'll see here, it's a dream job write-up. So again, I'm not going to put your feet against the fire, so to speak, when it comes to your first day in summer, although we are going to go at a very fast pace. So these will come up very quickly. Hi, everyone. Sorry, most sincere apologies. I made a small error that I had to correct, and I'm just going to attach a small video clip to the last one. So if there's a brief and abrupt clip there in terms of a rough transition, please excuse me. As I was saying, like I said, your first dream job write-up will be due on July 6th, so you will have some time to do that, as you will probably watch this video sometime in the next couple of days. You can see on Crisis Communication on As You Learn, you will have a forum that I will want you to fill out, which is an About You, which will be kind of your discussion here, and then the first journal in 2 to 3 paragraphs. Tell me about your dream profession. And this will just give me a brief overlook in terms of what I can expect and what I can do to help customize a little bit for this class. Because one of the things that I like most about it is that especially for small classes like Crisis Com, it usually gives me a good opportunity to be able to bring some in other examples that I might not have brought up before, or talk about some areas that may not have been brought up. So again, this will be based kind of on you as well, and kind of how much information you want to mention in terms of your dream job here. So like I said, we'll have a lot of reading to get into, and so I will want you to kind of get into some of your books here for next week. But again, don't need to do it just this second, but try to get it for next week. And then you'll see most of the journals are going to be due on a Friday. And every one of my assignments will be due at 11:59 p.m. With the exception of your final project, which will be due on August 4th at noon. So I just want to make sure I clear the air on that, and just let you know that most of them will be due by midnight, but at the same time, I need to turn in grades pretty quickly, so I need to get that a little bit earlier. So that's the basis of the course. Obviously, if you have any questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful week. Happy 4th of July, and I will see y'all next week.